Today, we are going to be talking about text structures or how the information is organized. So I like to think about this with construction. You see construction structure. It's all about building. And so over on one side, you have the information, which is the raw materials, and then you have to organize that. That's your blueprint. And you can make a lot of different houses out of these materials. Just like when you're writing an article, you can have very similar information, but how you organize it really affects the article. So today we are going to learn about 5 different common text structures, and we're going to start with the definition of each text structure. So this is for nonfiction, and we're talking about how information is organized. So for description is our first one, and information is organized by categories. And so as you read, the article moves from describing an event or a person or a place by one characteristic, and then they'll describe a different characteristic of that event, and then they'll describe something else about that event. And so that is how description text structure is organized. And you can see with this picture with the bird organizing his information, his little circles, into categories by color. And so if you're doing description text structure, you're going to take all your information and group them into different categories, and then just go through your article and describe that information. The next text structure is sequence, which is when it's organized by placing the information in numerical or chronological order. So numerical order is number order. So this could be a recipe or how to train your dog, or like what steps it takes to become an astronaut. You could also have chronological order, and this is going to be a lot of your social studies and history text, right? It tells you what happened in order. This could also be in science if it tells you the order of like how the water cycle works, or what causes a volcano, what leads to a volcano, the time lapse of a volcano, things like that. So when things are in order, number order or chronological order, which is time order. Chrono is the Greek word for time. Okay, compare and contrast, apples versus oranges. What's similar and what's different? So this is when you organize information by comparing and contrasting the different people, places, events, objects, or ideas. So there's lots of different ways to organize a compare contrast article. You could start with all the similarities and then end with all the differences. You could do compare and contrast the entire time. So you could say like apples and oranges have the same shape. However, apples and oranges have different colors. Apples and oranges are both popular with little children for lunches. However, apples and oranges require different eating methods. You have to peel an orange, but you can eat an apple with its skin on. So it could just be all the similarities at once, and then all the differences, or it could be like what I described, where you go through each character trait of the things and compare and contrast them both. And the next is cause and effect. So this is when the text is organized by showing how one or more causes resulted in one or more effects. So here with the human domino system, we see that one push had many hundreds of effects of knocking down mattresses with people in it. So sometimes people will start with one cause and then list multiple effects, or maybe they will describe multiple causes and list one effect at the end. Of course, on really complex articles, they could be talking about many causes and many effects at the same time. And the last one is problem and solution. So this is when you organize your information because you explain one problem and then you offer a solution. So it could be a simple article where you just explain one problem, one solution, or maybe there's multiple problems and multiple solutions. So that is how the last one we will be covering. And usually problem and solution is more for a persuasive article. It could be informational, but usually the author is trying to persuade you to choose their solution to a common problem. And that's the definitions.